Hi guys, thanks for coming along, exeterrider here. This week I'm test riding the Honda Forza 300. Okay, so before we go too far, my first thing that I noticed actually was how pleasantly easy it is to get it off the stand and flick it up on the centre stand. Really light, you don't have to force it or anything like that. It's easy, piece of cake. Alright, let's get on and see what it's like. Oh, lovely seat, huge seat. Right, it's keyless ride, so hold the back brake in. As most of you know, I do come from a scooter background. I had a 125 Honda Dylan back in the day, in my CBT training days with L plates on, and I've also had a Suzuki 650 Bergman. So I am a scooter fan, shall we say. And the seat is very wide. When I'm at a stop, I'm kind of on the balls of my feet in a very comfortable way. It supports the top half of your leg with the seat, which is quite nice. It's just ready just to flick your feet up and away you go again. Mirrors are very good as well. They're at a nice height, so you don't have to look for the mirrors. They're just there. You just flick your eyes to the right or the left and they're instantly where you want them to be. Ever so light to tip in. I've still got loads of ground clearance under me. Okay, so what we're at now then, we're at 40 now. Take it, no, 35, take it from there, here we go. I've got the electric screen on this one, so it's quite noisy at the moment. So already we're up to legal speed, 70 miles an hour. Screen rise, it's okay. Oh, I'm going a bit too fast there. So I'm 5'8", and I would say that the screen is a little bit low, I would say, for this type of weight. You probably want a screen extender on top there. A little bit turbulent. It's not the worst, it's not the best, but it could be better. But handling this sort of road, it will easily take you up to sort of 70, sort of 80 miles an hour, 85. It'll do that no problem at all. You've got to hold it back a bit, if anything. And it's 70 miles an hour. Well, I'm at 75 now. 70 miles an hour. I'm up to around 6,000, which is kind of relatively high, really, isn't it? But it goes up to 11,000 on the rev counter, and it's no vibrations whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. It's handling it very well. It'd be almost perfect if the screen was a little bit higher. I do like 300cc bikes. I think they're in a really good, sort of power range for everyday riding. You can open them out and have some fun, but you're not going to be doing silly speeds that's going to lose your license. You can really sort of use the engine to what it's designed to do. The suspension, considering that it's a scooter and it's got the two springs at the back with the shocks in, generally speaking, and people who've ridden scooters will know exactly what I mean by this, generally speaking, these bikes, scooters can be a bit crashy when it's set up like that, as opposed to the monoshock setup. But But this one here, although you feel the bumps a bit more than what you would do if it's a monoshock, it's still not bad actually. It's still pretty, it's okay. But it certainly isn't crashy. Yes, it's a little bit on the hard side, but that's only because I'm used to a monoshock, so, but overall, not bad. Through these twisties, it gives you loads of confidence because it's so nimble. And another thing with scooters is that they do tend to give you a bit more confidence leaning the bike over, because there's no heaviness up the top, but you feel that there's loads down beneath you, so you don't get the impression that the rear wheel's going to skid out from you. While I'm on that, I have got a torque control on here as well, which I can turn on or off. And basically what that does is that if you're going round a roundabout, for example, and you hit some diesel and your wheels start to spin and you've got the power on, it will just cut the power. So the theory is that you regain traction again, and basically the sensors just can tell when the wheels spinning and not gaining any traction, so it's a good option. I kind of question whether that's kind of needed on this sort of bike, but why not, eh? I mean, if it's there, then it's extra peace of mind at the end of the day. Yeah, handles this very well. What are the brakes like? Nothing behind, nothing behind. Back brake? Hey, very good. Combined? Yeah, brilliant. Very good. Just pull it in the air to do the walk round. Okay, so this is the walk round for the Honda Forza 300. I personally, as soon as I saw this down at Bridge Motorcycles, I kind of thought that's a nice looking scooter, and it's one which I kind of, if there's a scooter I do want to try, then it was this one. I like how practical it is. It's obviously got the large storage underneath the seat, which is enough for 2 helmets. So for everyday use and for going out, pulling it out, going shopping or things like that, it's going to do quite a good job. I also quite like the way that the pillion seat is set up as well, actually. It's a lovely wide width, but not too much. And that's one of my criticisms I had on my Suzuki Bergman 650, is that you know, it was so wide the seat that it just wasn't comfortable for the pillion. But the pegs are in a nice place for the pillion as well. They just literally flick out like so, and can get straight on there. Got good grab handles for pulling it around, backing it into the garage, and for the pillion to hold on to. Again, with the styling, I like this big chunky exhaust. In fairness, it is incredibly quiet, this exhaust. You can hardly sort of hear it, certainly at high speed you can't hear it at all. If anything, it could do with a bit more grunt, really. But again, that's not what this thing's about. You know, it's about practicability and smooth, easy riding around town. As I said in the beginning of the video, it's absolutely really easy to get on and off the centre stand. I was really quite impressed with that. And again, you know, a lot of people will buy these bikes for ease of getting on and off, and just ease of everyday riding, really. And to get on the bike is again, it's a very easy affair. If I just step over there like so, I have to be a bit careful here because I'm on the grass and I'm on a bit of an adverse camber, so if I don't look like I'm too well balanced, that's why. But to get my feet on the ground, it's just right. I'm 5'8" and I've got a 30-inch inside leg. And again, this isn't a great test because it's on a camber here, but again, it's really, really easy. And Honda have designed this seat really nicely, so you don't have to use your upper legs to do any of the sitting back and sitting down, or getting your feet down on the bike. They just tend to sort of where your knee is. It just sort of flows down, and you're on the deck. So big points on that. That's they've done incredibly well on that. You can tell that they thought about that a bit. Sitting up on the bike, it's got a nice lumbar support behind me, which is just in the right place for me, and to put my feet up is just right. Again, I've got a 30-inch inside leg, so you can kind of gauge where I am with it. So you can sit like this or like this. I would say that if you're somebody who's over 6 foot, then I think you need to sit on one for sure to try it out, because it is a little bit on the short side. Not for me, but for anyone else who's taller than me, it might be a little bit tight. But if you're 6 foot and under, then it's absolutely it's really comfortable. Actually, I think they've got it absolutely spot on. Another good thing with scooters is the way that you can ride them in the rain, and when the rain's hitting the front windscreen, it will just literally fly right up over your head. Also with the legs, you don't get any rain coming towards you to hit you on your legs or your feet, because they're so well protected in behind the scooter bodywork there. That's one of the major bonuses with scooters as well, and again, it's another tick on the practicality scale. As I say, the screen is a little bit on the windy, tad buffety and noisy. It's I think could do with another extension here, and certainly again, if you're a taller rider, then you could certainly do with another extension up here. It's an easy fix. It's not the end of the world, and you do have the advantage of the screen going up and down as well. So I mean, that in itself, it's a nice trick up its sleeve. It saves all this sort of doing it manually with the bolts and all that rubbish. So for inner city riding, which I guess probably is going to be where this bike is mainly aimed at, for filtering, it's a very narrow bike, so you're not going to have any issues with getting through the traffic and getting up to the front of the lights. Pulling away from the lights, it's got plenty enough go to get you away from the cars and get yourself in front. If things do get a little bit tight, then you've got these mirrors which just fold in here like so. That is manually done, but again, how often do you do that? This may look complicated here, but it's easy once you know how. Basically, you've got the off button there. If you push it and move it over, it's going to lock the steering. Then you've got the seat and fuel buttons here on that activation, and that's to make the bike go. Okay, so to operate the seat, you have to turn this switch here to seat and fuel, and this makes these two buttons here work. So if I want to push the seat up, then I've got absolutely loads of room in there. Enough room for 2 face helmets. They will easily fit in there, no problem at all. One there and one here. And also a Honda scooter brochure as well, so you've got enough room for that. So a lot to be said for that. You can't beat having enough storage. Got a toolkit in here as well, and yeah, a lot to be said for that. Okay, control gear wise, on the left handle we've got the torque control on this side, which you can't see too well. Up and down pass, screen up and down, info A, horn, indicators, and info B down the bottom. And on the right hand side you've got the standard Honda setup really. So you've got the kill switch, the indicators, and the start button there. Okay, so on the digital dash side of things, we've got the fuel gauge, temperature gauge, time at the top, and then moving down we've got the trip A, trip B, the time elapsed, which seems to be a Honda thing. They seem to put timers on there for some reason. A range meter of when you need to fuel up, which I might add, the fueling of these things is absolutely fantastic. You'll fill it up and you can pretty much forget it for a while. It's very frugal indeed. Air temperature, and also we've got a battery voltage meter on this one as well. Overall, I love the sharp lines of the bike, just the general way it looks. It looks absolutely bang up to date. It's a really cool looking scooter. Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's get on and have another ride. With these 300cc bikes, you generally get about 85 per gallon. That's what I got at my 300, and I would imagine that this one might be even better than that because it's more updated engine. Where are you going? Over you go. Probably on his phone. But yeah, they're very, very good on fuel. Those brakes are sharp as a button. Yeah, I'm just amazed at how many vibes. There's just no vibes from it. It's only when you come to a stop or do higher speed you get a bit of a wobble in the handlebars, but apart from that, absolutely nothing at all. Very quiet. I also like this as well when you just sat at the lights, and quite often with my mirrors on my NC I'm kind of looking around in there and seeing what's behind me, just for spatial awareness really. But with this bike you can just literally just flick over and all the information's there, easy to hand. You certainly have some fun on this bike as well. Slow speed handling is very good. It's just feather light on top. This bike is going to be great for getting around town and filtering and you know, going out at the weekend. Even with a pillion you wouldn't lose a lot of power, I don't think. I think it's they got the CVT just right on this, the transmission. If anything, it's a tad on the quiet side, if anything, but that's nice for the rider. But obviously you just have to watch everybody else, that they can hear you coming. The overriding feeling of it really is just how practical it is. It's just great having that under-seat storage and it being so frugal. £42 tax a year. You know, the nice mirrors, the smoothness of it, the ability to do everything, you know, quite well. It does, you know, around the city stuff it does very well. Even on the motorway, you know, it does that really, really well, but it's just a screen element that that lets that down a little bit. But again, it's an easy fix. Just get a bigger screen, right? See what it's like filtering now. Again, filtering on these is fantastic. There's no up and down of the gears. You know exactly where you are with it, and there's no in and out with a clutch. It's just ready to go when you are. You don't have to think about it too much. You just concentrate on what you've got to be concentrating on. Obviously I'm going to wait for this bus to move out of the way because he's going to need a wide berth. Okay, so let's see what this bike's like filtering then. Slice down the middle of this lot. Mirrors are in a good place so far. They're not getting in the way or anything. We'll get to the front. Lights changed as they always do. All clear. Okay, let's filter up to the front of the lights here as well. Again, it's very light and manoeuvrable. Yeah, so with this sort of bike you're going to be sat at the traffic lights quite often. It has got the start-stop feature on this bike, which I haven't used on this review. To be honest, I don't really think you need it. It's frugal enough as it is. If you need to get away from the traffic with this sort of 300 engine size, then there you go, up to 30 already, look, just like that. Everybody else, look, they're left well behind. Again, it's a bike which does accelerate quickly, but you don't get the thrill of it because it is so smooth, so you don't really feel that. And that's not what this bike is about. It is about getting you around, you know, in comfort and with ease. And that's where Honda have absolutely nailed this bike. They've got that absolutely spot on. Jesus is the only way. Yeah. Yeah, so incredibly smooth. There you go. Jesus is the only way. Okay, I'm not going to comment on that at all. Yeah, so overall, this bike has been really, really nice to ride. Very, very smooth. I think it's going to suit a lot of people, and I also think it's going to bring back a lot of people to biking as well. I think for people that want an easier bike to ride, but still with enough power to sort of roll on and get you out of trouble, and the more practical aspects of biking, it's going to be very, very simple. For the A2 guys, I guess if you've had the Forza 125 and been riding that, the natural progression might be up to this one. And again, if you need if you need to carry a lot of gear, then this is a super bike. I mean, it's so handy having all that space under the seat. It really is. But yeah, this bike's got a lot going for it. I think if you're looking at this bike, you're probably looking at the Bergman 400 as well. I think that's kind of the competition there, and the T-Max 300. I think they make a 300 as well. I think that the Yamaha is quite thirsty. I think it does tend to drink a lot of fuel. So I hear. I mean, this is just what I hear. But for this one, I personally, I would, if I was looking for a scooter in this range, then I'm Honda mad anyway. I'm a Honda fan, always have been, and this would definitely tick a lot of boxes. It's very streamlined as well. You know, some of the scooters are great big fat looking machines, whereas this is very slimline, very nice to look at, easy on the eye. It's bang up to date. All the electronics are quite impressive as well, with the hill start, sorry, not hill start, the stop start, the electric screen, oops, the horn, accidentally pushed that then. So yeah, overall it's going to tick a lot of boxes, this. Like I say, for people over 6 foot, I would try one first, because it might get a little bit cramped for you. And also the screen again might be a little bit too short, but overall it's a very good typical Honda scooter. They come up trumps, and as Honda do, they bring out bikes just at the right time. So as ever, I want to thank Bridge Motorcycles in Exeter for the loan of the bike, and if you haven't been there before and you're in the area, go down there. They have everything there. There they are, down there, look. Attached to the side there, you got Cafe 53 as well, and they have got some very nice cakes in there, bacon butty, sausage sandwiches, etc. Do like and subscribe, it's a massive help to me, and I will see you next week on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.